Hi, this is Aurora from superchargedmath.com. Now, if you're having a hard time with math, you're in the right place because this is where we take the challenging math concepts and we make them easy. So if you want to learn math the easy way, just visit superchargedmath.com. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, so here we go. We are going to talk about exponents. And if while I'm talking you're like, ooh, this is a little too advanced, that's fine. Go back and do your escape room. Okay, exponents. So what are we going to do? Exponents, so if I say 2 to the second power, or 2 squared, that means it's 2 times 2. So this tells you how many times to multiply this number by itself. 2 times 2 is 4. Let's try another one. 3 squared. Okay, so we're not saying 3 times 2. We're saying 3 times 3 because we're multiplying itself twice. So this is equal to 9. Okay, let's try another one. 2 to the third power. Okay, 2 to the third power is 2 times 2 times 2. This number only indicates how many times you multiply this number by itself. 2 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is, I'm sorry, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so Zoomers, how are we doing so far? Doing good? Okay, so this should not look too complicated. Okay, so here we go. If I say 2 and I put brackets around it, it means the same thing as this one. And I'll tell you why we put brackets in a minute. Okay, so it just means 2 squared, and that's 4. If I put brackets around the 3 and I square it, that means I square whatever is inside the brackets. Right now there's only one number, okay? So this is 3 squared. Now you might be thinking, oh, this is easy. I got this. Okay, watch this. If I say 1/2 squared, am I squaring just the 1 or am I squaring the half? That's why you'll never see this written like this. This is bad notation. It's not clear what you mean. When you square a fraction, you always find it inside brackets. Do you see that now? Because I want to be real sure that we are squaring everything inside. What does this mean? This means this is 1/2 times 1/2. So we take this number and we multiply it by itself twice. So this is 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. All right. If I say 1/3 squared, 1/3 squared, this is 2 cubed, or 2 to the third power. 3 squared, 3 to the second power. There are different ways of saying the same thing. So 1/3 squared means this is 1/3 times 1/3. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Excellent. Okay.
Now, before we move on to the next example, I just want to share something for parents who see their child as being overwhelmed with math, but they're not quite sure what to do about it. Now, in the video that we're watching right now, your child is learning math in a much more natural way that fits with how they think. And if this is working for them so far, I'd like to invite both you and your child to join me for a free online class that they can learn math like this, just like we're doing in the video. To register for this class at no charge, just click the link below in the descriptions, or it's also in the comments, or you can simply go to getmath.net/class. Getmath.net/class. All right, let's continue.
Let's get you familiar with them. -2 squared. Okay, so this means we square everything inside the braces. So this means we're going to say -2 times -2. Do you see how if I didn't have the braces, if I just said -2 times -2, do you see how that looks really awkward? Is that a subtraction sign or is that a negative sign? So we don't want to write it like that. We want to be really clear. We know who the negative number belongs to. Like, is there a 1 missing here? I don't know. So a negative times negative is always positive. So this is going to be equal to, so we have a minus times a minus, that's a plus. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let's do another one so you're comfortable, okay? -2, but let's do it 3 times now. Okay, so what is that? That's -2 times -2 times -2. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 2, all right? Very similar to what we had before, only there's a minus sign here. How do we deal with that? Okay, so we say minus plus minus. Okay, so the answer is going to be negative. So you handle that first, then you just ignore the minus signs. And then you say 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. The answer is negative 8. Okay? So if I have a negative sign here and this is odd, the answer is going to be negative. If I have a negative sign and this little exponent is even, it's going to be positive. Do you see the pattern? Okay, so let's give this another try. What if I have the negative sign outside? Okay, then we just bring the negative sign along for the ride, and then we say, okay, what's 2 times 2? It's 4. So my answer here is actually negative 4. If the negative sign is inside, then we have to multiply it together. But in this case, we got here because we said minus 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And now we have a minus sign in front of it. So we have to be really careful and really deliberate about how we actually do this. Here, let's do another one. What if I have a minus 2? Somebody just asked that. And we cube it. Okay. So if we have a minus 2, okay. So here's the way I handle it. I ignore that first. All right, so I deal with this thing. It's a negative sign, and this is an odd number. I know I'm going to have a negative. Okay, so I handled that. Now I'm taking 2 times 2 times 2, so 3 times. That's going to give me 8. Okay, and then I look here, I'm like, oh, now I got to change it to a positive. So this is equal to plus 8. So you just want to take it one step at a time. Deal with this first, okay, and figure out if it's negative or positive, and then deal with the number. And then check and see if you have to make any corrections. Okay, let's try again so you're comfortable, okay? What if I do, somebody wants to know about a negative exponent. Great. Look at this. What do we do here? This is easy. Watch this. Can you tell how I got there? Can you tell how I got there? Okay, so anytime there's a negative, it means you have to take the reciprocal. It means you have to flip it. Okay, so I flip it, and then I can get rid of the negative. And now we've done this problem. We've done this. This is 1/2 times 1/2. Okay, so let's try another one. So if I have 2 to the negative 3, what do? The first thing is we deal with this negative. That's the first thing we do. To deal with that, we flip it. This is 2 over 1. So now this is 1 over 2. Okay, we got rid of that. We still have the 3 here. So this is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So the answer is 1/8. So if there's a negative in the exponent, it means you need to flip it. If there's a negative out here, you have to deal with that later. So we're going to mix all this up so it makes more sense. Let's try again. So 3 to the minus 2 power. Okay, so we're keeping it nice and simple. Here, I know this is new for a lot of people, so take your time. Okay, I promise we'll get to the microscope stuff really soon. We have to deal with the minus first. So flip it. So this is 3 over 1, so this is 1/3. Okay, now rewrite the problem. Okay, so the difference is if there's a negative, you have to flip it, and then now it becomes a positive. Okay, so we dealt with that, and we just rewrote the problem. And now we're going to solve the problem. So 1/3 squared means 1/3 times 1/3. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Your answer is 1/9. Yeah. A little wonky, huh? Okay, so this happens in engineering all the time. So if you're interested in becoming a scientist or an engineer, you gotta get comfortable with this stuff. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, try this one. Put my brackets there. 3 to the minus 3. All right, deal with the minus 3 first. So this is 3 over 1. So it's 1/3. And then rewrite the problem. So that minus, we took care of it. We flipped it. We rewrote the problem to 1/3. What does that mean? That means we're taking 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. We're multiplying it by itself 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay. All right.
Now, is your child overwhelmed and frustrated with learning decimals? If so, I think I can help. See, I teach math to kids in a way that flows naturally with how they learn, so they find it way easier and even have fun with it. Now, if your kids have struggled with decimals before, I'd like to invite you and your kids to join me for a free online class where they will learn more math just like they did in this video. You can register at no charge simply by going to getmath.net/class.